Last weekend, Tom Aspinall became the new interim heavyweight champion, beating Sergei Pavlovich by first round knockout, and he looked really impressive. And he looked so impressive that so many YouTubers are now saying that Tom Aspinall will not just beat Jon Jones, but would whoop Jon Jones.
Yeah, it's very silly. These are the same people who predicted Cyril Gane with like 50-45 Jon Jones. And if you watch our prediction of the Aspinall versus Pavlovich fight, we were like the leaders of the Tom Aspinall hype train, I feel like.
Yeah.
We were on there and we were saying how he's the next generation of heavyweight, but when you start going into like a discussion of he would dominate Jon Jones, it is very silly. So the comparisons of Pavlovich and Jon Jones comes with an 84.5-inch reach for Jon Jones and 84-inch reach for Sergei Pavlovich, which is up there with the highest of all time in the UFC. But there's a difference between Pavlovich's ability to use his reach and Jon Jones, who is the best user of a long reach in the UFC and UFC history.
Yeah, and kind of bouncing off your point there, I feel like people dislike Jon Jones as a person so much that they end up becoming blinded by how good he actually is, because there are so many YouTubers who are saying not only that Cyril Gane would beat Jon Jones, but that he would whoop him on the feet and that Jon Jones would not be able to take him down. And then you watch the fight, Jon Jones takes him down in the first round and subs him first attempt. Me and him were always talking about how Jon Jones was going to beat Cyril Gane, and we were surprised about how many people predicted Cyril Gane to win. And so now I feel like a lot of people have this recency bias with Tom Aspinall just because Tom Aspinall looks so good that they think now that Tom Aspinall, although we agree that he is the next gen heavyweight, Jon Jones is a different level. It's a different fight with Jon Jones. He's so skillful, and you have to consider that he's the best of all time. And you know, we'll kind of bounce off to why we think Jon Jones will win, but we're not saying that it won't be a competitive fight.
Jon Jones we're not going to see another Jon Jones in the UFC. And yet people are saying Tom Aspinall will beat him. I think a lot of people see the combination of the speed and the power in Tom Aspinall, but there's a lot of flaws in that argument because Jon Jones is an athlete. We see at heavyweight, there aren't very many athletes. You got Cyril Gane, Tom Aspinall, and Jon Jones. And Cyril Gane probably moves better than Tom Aspinall. I'd say it's pretty close, but Cyril Gane moves better. He's just more fit than Tom Aspinall, which helps him with the movement. So Jon Jones already beat that. And Tom Aspinall doesn't scare Jon Jones because I really think that the reach will give Tom Aspinall a very big problem. And Jon Jones, although he's not a black belt in jiu-jitsu like Tom Aspinall, when Jon Jones gets on top of you, he hurts you. And Jon Jones could take down Tom Aspinall. If Tom Aspinall's on his back, which I doubt being a heavyweight and being a bigger guy his entire life, would he be comfortable on bottom, Jon Jones would eat him up. And unlike Sergei Pavlovich, Jon Jones moves better and the kicks are so important. All these heavyweights don't have kicks, and that's why Cyril Gane plowed through all these heavyweights because he actually has kicks.
Yeah, that was a big point that I was going to say that, first of all, a lot of people are talking about Tom Aspinall's footwork. Like you said, Cyril Gane has crazy footwork, and Jon Jones made Cyril Gane's footwork look, average. And Jon Jones has fought people with such good footwork because he has that light heavyweight experience, and we've seen that the light heavyweights tend to be more technical than the heavyweights. But Jon Jones has to fight someone like Lyoto Machida, who's probably one of the fastest, has probably one of the best footwork that I've ever seen. And so when he fights Cyril Gane or Tom Aspinall, it won't be new for him. It won't be new for him. And Tom Aspinall just fought Sergei Pavlovich, who's, like we said, was pretty much a pure boxer. How is he going to do against someone like Jon Jones, who has now the best takedown defense in UFC history because Kamaru Usman got taken down by Chimaev a bunch of times. And because he has such great takedown defense, he can spam the kicks a lot. And I think that will make a huge difference in how the fight would play out.
And what would Tom Aspinall do once he gets past the first round? You could even argue that Jon Jones goes into that Tom Aspinall fight, uses his reach, keeps circling, just makes Tom Aspinall get out of the first round. Experience would play a big factor there. Tom Aspinall is used to finishing people under 2 minutes. Like he finished Sergei Pavlovich in a minute. What would Jon Jones do? And I just think that Jon Jones has so many ways to win. And Aspinall against Jon Jones, the only way he's going to beat Jon Jones is with a knockout, which means that Ngannou or Pavlovich, in my opinion, have a better shot at beating Jon Jones than Tom Aspinall. I know he has the speed and stuff, but Jon Jones has fought too many people with the speed. Cyril Gane, Lyoto Machida back in the day. Even Thiago Santos, these are better guys than him. When you see these light heavyweights moving up to heavyweight, Jailton Almeida being an example, they just see how easy it is at heavyweight in terms of the skill. Because a lot of these heavyweights are obese. And if they just got in shape, they could fight a light heavyweight. But they know, okay, the light heavyweights, they take the sport a lot more seriously. They have better skills. and I should probably fight at heavyweight. That's what Chris Dawkins fought at heavyweight, because he freaking sucks, but he just knows, okay, I could get in shape and fight at welterweight, but I'm not even a UFC fighter if I fight at welterweight.
Yeah, and like you mentioned about the speed, I remember before the Ciryl Gane fight, Jon Jones was saying that, Ciryl Gane, everyone's talking about his footwork, but against Francis Ngannou in that third, fourth, fifth round, where did the footwork go? And as you said, Tom Aspinall has all first round finishes. We haven't seen Tom Aspinall go to the second, third, fourth, fifth round. And, Tom Aspinall, we haven't seen him knock anybody out with his kicks. So it's definitely going to be with the punches that Tom Aspinall would knock him out. And Jon Jones is such a heavy kicker that the distance would be very different. Jon Jones has really long legs, so that would also play a huge part in the distance. And Jon Jones' takedown defense is so good that I would see it being on the feet. How would Tom Aspinall look in third, fourth, fifth round? Who knows how he would look?
And recency bias comes into play here so bad. That's why Jon Jones was doubted against Ciryl Gane, because of recency bias. We hadn't seen him in 3 years. So people are like, oh, Gane has been active, he would beat Jon Jones. It's all because of recency bias. We're not saying Tom Aspinall isn't good. We both believe that Tom Aspinall beats everybody in the heavyweight division right now except for Jon Jones. We were able to get our bias away from who Jon Jones is as a person, to recognize that we're not going to see another Jon Jones like that. The guy had 9 defenses, I believe, by the time he was 27. We rarely see a champion under the age of 30.
Yeah, and the Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall would be a big fight, especially for Tom Aspinall.
If he beats Stipe.
If he beats Stipe. Getting on that stage against Jon Jones, I feel like if Tom Aspinall fought Jon Jones, he'd face off with him and be like, oh my God, that's Jon Jones. And the thing with Jon Jones, if we don't even consider specifically the skills of both guys, I think the big thing for Tom Aspinall is that he's a natural heavyweight and Jon Jones is not. Jon Jones is so smart in terms of fight IQ, obviously not outside, and his avoid getting arrested IQ is obviously not very good, but his fight IQ is obviously very good. And you have to I like to look at fighters in terms of not only how they obviously fight in terms of their skill set, but also their mind. And Jon Jones' mind has to be probably one of the strongest I've ever seen. His fight IQ is so strong, his mindset is so strong, and he always finds a way to win. I remember, we're obviously mentioning the Ciryl Gane one. I remember one of the big claims was, Jon Jones looked bad against Dominic Reyes. He couldn't take down Dominic Reyes. How do you think he's going to take down Ciryl Gane? Although that was a close fight, you can't deny that Jon Jones always finds a way to win.
Yeah, Jon Jones won round 4 and 5. And a lot of people, according to the scorecards, won 3, 4, 5. But you could argue he lost the first 3 rounds, but still had the mental strength to win rounds 4 and 5. And backing off your point of Tom Aspinall being a natural heavyweight, honestly, at the moment, I do feel like not being a natural heavyweight has been helping people. Gelton Almeida and Jon Jones. Because when you fight these light heavyweights, these killers at light heavyweight, these heavyweight in terms of skill, they're not much better. Light heavyweights have power too. People seem to have like a big jump between powers of heavyweights and light heavyweights, but Jon Jones was fighting like Rampage, these big hitters, and didn't really have any problems with them.
Yeah, I think Jon Jones, if he came in lighter, I think Jon Jones, if he came in like maybe more like 235, 240, where he wouldn't have that gut, would be just insane. And it would be a competitive fight. I think it'd be a good fight, but I think Jon Jones is just too smart, has way too much experience. I mean, I think he's 36 now, so he's getting a little bit up there, but Jon Jones is the go to the sport, and he always finds a way to win, so it's hard for me not to back Jon Jones in a fight.
Yeah, and Jon Jones, I think the best shot someone has to beat him is with knockout power, because we saw against Daniel Cormier, even one of the best wrestlers ever can't bring him to the ground. If you get on top of him, he's so good at getting up. I mean, honestly, like when Cormier took him down, he got right back up on his feet to a point where the takedown shouldn't have even counted. And after looking at Aspinall fight Pavlovich, Jon Jones uses his reach too well. That's why people were complaining that he was a light heavyweight. Oh, he's too big, too long for these guys. And that same thing applies at heavyweight. And Tom Aspinall's good, but Jon Jones is just a once-in-a-lifetime athlete.
Yeah, and I completely agree with that. Let us know what you guys think. Do you think that we're actually right here? Do you think Jon Jones would still beat Tom Aspinall? Or are you on the Tom Aspinall hype train that just started after he knocked out Sergei Pavlovich? Let us know in the comments. See you guys next time.